As for the men, Jan Sipperson of Germany is the leader, with Jasper Blake currently in 7th, Gordo Byrne in 10th. But again, we have to put these times in relation to their personal bests. They may be trailing, but they may be happy with their times.
Exactly, and the conditions vary so much year to year that you can't really wrap up a race just because you're 30 seconds off your best time on the swim. You have to put it in perspective. Where are the other people? And you know what? It's still a long day ahead of them.
Another of the top-ranked Australians from New South Wales, this is Matthew Clark. And maybe a Canadian, Teresa, people haven't heard about from Calgary. This is Kyle Marcotte. He's a former national duathlon champion, and he is a member of the Canadian triathlon team.
Now, Marcotte is like a man on fire out there. He's really motoring through this, and it's very early into the bike ride. The question is, does he have a grand scheme here to really break them early, or is he just excited to be on this bike?
And here is your leader. Remember, it was the German Sipperson who was out of the water and had a 3:54 lead on Jasper Blake, one of the top Canadians.
Now, Marcotte is setting a really quick pace here, but I have to wonder, with the lack of Ironman experience he has, is this a wise move? Now, if you look at the more experienced men like Jasper Blake and Gordo Byrne, they're just being a little bit more conservative right off the bat.
Monica Byrne continues to be the women's leader on the bike, but Belinda Granger, who started 3:32 back, is closing the gap.
And you know, Belinda's going to be concerned about Lisa Bentley, and that's the only person probably on her radar right now.
Ina Reinders from Munich, Germany has picked up a spot. She has now moved into 3rd. And because she passed Marie Dene, who has dropped back to 4th. But the big question mark is this lady. 7 minutes behind out of the water, Lisa Bentley.
And this is the patented Lisa Bentley move. She looks determined, focused, and she's working every single pedal stroke of this bike ride.
Is she desperate?
No, she's not desperate. She's actually a very experienced athlete, but she always looks like she's really pushing the envelope.
At just 5 feet, 4 inches, and 112 pounds, Canadian Lisa Bentley's physical statistics may not be that intimidating. However, her career statistics, well, they're another matter. 10 Ironman titles, and counting, since her first win in 2000. When Lisa Bentley shows up at an Ironman, she comes to win.
Another amazing run for Lisa Bentley.
There's a lot of people that are pretty amazing out there that I have never beaten before, and I'd really like to beat, but for me, I see race day as really being a celebration of all the training and all the commitments, the getting massage, getting physio, staying healthy. That's what race day is accumulation of. And that's what I remind myself. And I ask myself several times during the day, would you rather be doing something different right now? And if I ever answer yes, then it's really time to reevaluate why I was on the start line.
Bentley recorded the second fastest debut Ironman ever for a woman when she raced right here at the Subaru Ironman Canada back in 1997. Few could have imagined that 10 years later, she would be back in Penticton, now looking for her 11th Ironman and the 3rd Subaru Ironman Canada title.
This place, Penticton, and this race, Ironman Canada, has been really a place for me where I've had a lot of different kinds of victories. You know, I've had personal victories and emotional victories and professional victories, all on different levels. And this race is pretty big in my heart. And I mean, I think I've come into this race prior years feeling a lot of pressure because I'm the hometown girl and it's my Canadian race. And I don't feel that this year, and I'm pretty excited that I don't feel that. And in that sense, it's a victory, because I've just realized now that everyone is just being so supportive and so caring and loving, and that's what this race means to me, is an awful lot of support. That's what makes this race, Subaru Ironman Canada, so special. And I'm so happy to be back here this year.
And there is no doubt we saw the reaction of the fans when she came out of the water. As a 2-time winner, she is a favorite here at Subaru Ironman Canada. And that gap is almost gone now as Belinda Granger makes the pass on Monica Byrne. Now, she is a former winner of Korea 3 times. You've won Korea. Does it set her up well for here in Penticton?
Well, actually, Granger has mentioned herself that there's a lot of similarities between Ironman Korea and this course. They're both very hilly bike rides, and it becomes a race of attrition. It gets hot on those runs, and it's the strongest person that just hangs on.
And for Granger, well, her decision to come to Penticton really came at the last moment.
It's actually funny. I mean, I decided only to come to Canada 3 weeks ago, and it's basically just to see how my training's progressing. And when we were choosing the races and we had a look what was left, and Canada was one, I said, yeah, that would be pretty good actually, because for the last 5 years, you know, Lisa's come to Australia and convincingly beat me, and I thought, what would be better than to come to Canada and try and turn the, you know, turn the cards on her. But I've always wanted to do Canada. It's been a race that, you know, I've definitely had on my calendar to do before I retire. My husband came and did the race 2 years ago and just loved it. So, you know, it fit in really well.
We have a change in the men's pro division. Look who's taken over top spot. Kyle Marcotte, the Calgary chiropractor, has moved by Jan Sibersen.
And this is a very exciting time. There's nothing quite as much fun as leading a race, especially a huge one like Ironman Canada. You see that lead vehicle and it just gets the adrenaline going.
And as we mentioned, very few races at this distance. It's a quick change for the amateurs out of the water and onto the bike here in Penticton. As is always the case, thousands have turned out to see this 24th edition of Subaru Ironman Canada. Hello again, everyone. I'm Vic Rauter along with Teresa Marcel as we watch the amateurs, Teresa out and beginning their journey. And we have a new leader in the men's division, the pro division, as Kyle Marcotte has been passed now, as we are into the first major climb, and this is Richter Pass.
And Richter Pass is 11 kilometers long. And the key word here is it's the first climb. It doesn't end after this.
You saw the new leader. That's Courtney Ogden. So many of the top Ironmen around the world come from Australia, and he's a recent Ironman winner and starting to stretch it out a little bit. Although now look at how close everyone seems to be in the men's pro.
And this is where the mind games start. They can all see each other and they're looking at each other, who looks good and who doesn't.
Take a look now, wearing the number 27. This is Dave Harju from Hull, Quebec, who is currently in 6th, working very hard. Is it easier to make up ground on the climbs or on the flats?
On the flats, 30 seconds can look like a really long distance, while on a climb, 30 seconds actually closes distance-wise because you're going slower. So it's easier to get excited, easier to think you can catch the person ahead of you, and thus go much harder.
Harju has won the Ironman Wisconsin twice, back-to-back in 2003 and 2004, one of Canada's very, very best.
And Wisconsin's known as a really hilly course, so Harju's thinking, I'm a great hill climber, this is where I take advantage, this is where I attack.
And look at the difference in styles. We just saw very upright. That was Harju. Look at, maybe a lower gear, but here comes Victoria's Jasper Blake as he goes by Jan Sibersen. Tell me about the difference in style here.
Well, as we see Jasper spinning his legs much more, much less tension on the muscles. It's going to conserve much more energy. It seems like a much smarter move, especially on a climb like Richter with so many other hills still coming up in the course.
Gordo Byrne, Canadian by birth, but as we say, living with his wife down in Hamilton, Bermuda. And here, currently, is your women's leader. This is Belinda Granger, who has made up the ground. Remember when she came out of the water, she was some 3.5 minutes behind the leader, has now taken over.
The thing with Belinda, though, she has not seen this bike course. Lisa Bentley's won on this course, knows it well. Belinda's never even driven it.
Ina Reinders has really closed the gap. Ina was 4th out of the water from Munich, and now Lisa Bentley trying to close the gap. 7 minutes behind the leader out of the water.
And Lisa is a very aggressive hill rider. She does lots of hill repeats in her training. She's ready for the hills that are coming up in this course.
And she is currently in 3rd place, having gotten by Marie Danet. And on the downhill, because of course, as you suggest, you don't have a gear here, it's all about aerodynamics.
Exactly, and Granger's taking advantage, getting her chin as low to that bar as she can, tucking her arms in close to her body and just basically cruising down the hill.